Jessie Reyez is featured on this project. Young up and coming star. She's on 2 songs. How did you find Jessie Reyez?
I was coming home, I got home one night from a video shoot actually, and she was on TV, it was the Seth Meyers show, and she was doing that song Gatekeeper. And I was like, who the fuck is this? Because her voice to me was so crazy. So I rewound it, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta check her out. So I went down the wormhole of looking up shit, and I was like, yo, I really wanna fuck with this chick, because she, right now, my personal opinion, I think she's gonna really blow up. That's my personal opinion. I've seen people, very talented people, not do that, but I think that I would put my money on her that she will absolutely be huge. But I don't even know if like necessarily in the pop world or anything like that. I don't feel like she does pop music. I feel like she comes from a real place and she writes her own shit. First time I got in the studio with her, I played her a couple beats and she just started writing to one right there. Laid a hook, Good Guy. I was like, oh shit.
So she wrote the hook.
Quick. To Good Guy.
To Good Guy.
Yeah. The one she's singing at the end.
Yeah.
There's Nice Guy, Good Guy.
Good Guy.
And the reason that happened is because, oddly enough, she had already had a song called Nice Guy. She had that song, right? So I think that was the last day I was in LA. I came back home and wrote to that one. And then I was like, I want to write to the other one too, but they're both saying Nice Guy, Good Guy. And I was like, fuck it, I'll make it like it's kind of one song.
Dre's all over this project?
Dre's input is all over it, for sure. He felt like me and him had a couple discussions about the last album. And one of the things that he said to me was, like, he hit me up one day, he was like, yo, I don't like how motherfuckers are talking about your album. And he had heard Revival, right?
Yeah.
Him and Jimmy Iovine had sat in there and listened to most of the songs I had done at Rick Rubin's studio. And based off that reaction, I think Dre was a little confused too when that happened with Revival. Probably not more so than me, but we had a conversation earlier in the year, and I think I had only had one song by that time. This was like January.
Yeah.
I had the one song and was thinking about releasing it, and then another song, when I got back to Detroit, recorded it. Like, okay, now I got 2 songs, I might as well do a fucking album. And that's kind of how that came about. But Dre also, there's a couple songs that he kind of deaded them just because he didn't have a good reaction to them, and he also felt like one of them was going a little far.
A song.
Hey, man.
What does that mean? Like, how far did it go?
It definitely went too far.
When you say go too far, I feel like Kamikaze was the place where if you were ever going to go so-called too far, this is where it would be. You did the BET verse for the rap cipher, and in it, you covered a lot of content that was relevant to the world we live in today that some folks want to sweep under the rug, and this is my own personal opinion. Conversations we have every day on Shade 4-5 on Sway in the Morning, we talk about, the injustice, policies, prejudice. We talk about discrimination, all of these different things, whether or not we're in the middle of a race war that is trying to be perpetrated by people in power. Not a war in the sense where people are going to pick up guns and shoot at, well, maybe, shit.
Right.
But in terms of psychologically, the whole nine. So when you did that verse on the BET cipher, what I thought why it was necessary, King Crooked had a song called I Can't Breathe, where he talks about, man, we can't just be the only ones saying this.
White rappers shouldn't stay quiet.
White rappers shouldn't stay quiet.
I can't tell you how hard that line hit me. It was to the point where I'm like, this is how strong I feel about something. I gotta put it in the right words, And I saw shit where it was like, oh, these are not new subjects, they're new to Eminem, and that kind of shit.
How did you respond to that reaction? You got backlash for that, you know, especially when you did
I got
the BET,
backlash for the Trump cipher, and
Yeah.
you know, it is what it is. At least when this shit is all said and done, maybe I can just be on the right side of history. But you got people dissecting the bars and going, oh, this shit is trash, it's not even that good, and like, that's not what it's about. You're missing the whole point. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to say this also to my fan base who might have voted for him. A lot of people in my fan base probably did. And at the time I did the cipher, I realized after it was all said and done that maybe I should have just attacked him.
When you said you drew that line in the sand, maybe
Yeah.
you should have not done that. You should have reworded it and showed empathy towards
Well, that's
us.
what I realized after I was done. That's kind of how I felt, because it's like, okay, this is backfiring on me, and I don't care. I don't give a fuck if that's what happened and hurt my sales. I don't care about that.
Yeah.
I care about the message I'm trying to convey.
Why you felt a need to stand up, though? What was that for you as Marshall? What made you decide?
Because I was just watching it every single day. I watch a lot of news, right?
Yeah.
The thing that pissed me off the most, that really set me off when I started going crazy with the pen, because I'm like, the Kaepernick thing. And when that shit happened and how he kept changing the narrative and kept changing the narrative, you fucking, I can't, I don't want to get into this whole Trump thing anymore, but
well, you mentioned at the end of the ringer, Agent Orange sending a Secret Service to your house. Did the Secret Service really come to your house after that?
they came to my studio, yeah.
Okay.
And they were just basically asking me questions about my lyrics to see what the intent was behind them, and if I was making a actual threat or just expressing myself.
So that really happened. Wow, that's crazy. Right now, what we're seeing too, because Colin Kaepernick was named the face of Nike's 30th anniversary
Saw
of
it this morning.
Just Do It. You saw that, right? And then you got a whole slew of people that are now burning Nike shoes and Nike
I saw that.
products.
It's infuriating.
Yeah, what do you think?
Infuriating.
Yeah.
Like, really? Nike supports people who kneel for the anthem. At this fucking point, come on. Seriously? Seriously? You gotta be a fucking moron to think that that's just what it's about and it's that fucking cut and dry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a meaning behind this shit and there's real pain behind this shit. And you're burning a fucking pair of shoes? When you go about your fucking day and you got your job and you're thinking about all this other shit, that's what really fucking bothers you? People ain't gonna stop watching football. They're just not.
Yeah.
Football to me is the best sport there is. And what draws you to the game should not be, if that's how you feel about your country and you feel like you should stand for the anthem, stand for the anthem. That's fine. But you also need to realize that this is America and people have died for these rights to be able to protest and to be able to take a knee. Stop making it fucking personal about yourself. You have nothing to do with this.
I agree. We got to get back to Tyler, the Creator, man. I'm a big fan of Tyler's, you know, and I recently saw him perform. I know that Tyler was a big fan of yours growing up, right? And then I recall you even reading about you saying some good things about Our Future, how they're pushing boundaries years ago.
Yeah, for sure.
And you said some great things about them as a talent, as pushing boundaries, as a group, Our Future as a whole.
Yeah.
What happened with you guys?
Yeah, no, I really did like them. I thought like, I thought their movement was really cool too.
Did y'all make music?
We didn't make music, but you know, I just felt like, okay, there's a mutual respect, you know. And a lot of the shit that ended up happening after that, like the tweet he put out with talking about Shady 15 and why can't people that are close to him tell him that his shit sucks and it's trash. And I'm like, okay, listen, man. You don't have to like it. And it could really suck. But being that somebody really was cool to you, you would expect some kind of reciprocation, and just don't go public with it and publicly express your opinion and how much my shit is trash. Okay, so I chalk it up to them being young and just kids, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, all right, I've been there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I was dick when I first came out. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man, you were.
I know.
Yeah.
I feel bad about it. I'm sorry if I ever was a dick to you, but I don't think I ever was. Was I?
Yeah, one time, man. But hey.
Oh yeah, that's true. We won't talk about that.
Okay.
Nah, man. So I liked him, and then Earl Sweatshirt gets in an interview after Tyler trashes me, and then Earl Sweatshirt. Anybody who listens to Eminem's drinking too much Mountain Dew, and I'm just like, really? Like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you guys were just on tour with us. We hung out, like, we kicked it, make jokes, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so the last straw, like, look, I know a lot of this shit, I could come across being very petty.
Yeah.
But at a certain point in time, someone has their breaking point. You know what I'm saying? So when Tyler tweeted out the thing about Walk on Water, this fucking song is horrible, I was like, all right, I need to say something now, because this is fucking stupid, you know? But at the same time, I'm not gonna let everybody just keep fucking, I'm not gonna be America's punching bag and motherfuckers just wanna think it's cool and safe to say whatever the fuck they want about me.
I think it shocks people, because for all your career, you was the I just don't give a fuck guy.
That can work both ways.
How so?
Because you don't give a fuck, you will fire back at somebody who says something about you. I picked and chose that I wanted to say my piece with.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those things were personal. But then there's a lot of things that aren't personal on Kamikaze. You know, it's just the game and competition, you know what I'm saying? And
Spirit of an MC.
Spirit of an MC, yeah. But you know, with the Tyler the Creator thing, man, I realize now, and I realized when I said it, but I wasn't like in the mind frame of, I was angry when I said the shit about Tyler. The fact of like, every time I saw this kid, like, always so cool to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I loved his energy, like everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was a funny dude, like he's super charismatic and shit. But I'm sitting back like, man, at what point do I have to say something just to defend myself? And I think that the word that I called him on the album was, on that song, was one of the things where I felt like this might be too far. Because in my
the homophobic
in my
slur.
quest, in my quest to hurt him, I realized that I was hurting a lot of other people by saying it. And at the time, I was so mad, it was just whatever. But in the midst of everything else that was going on this album and the things that it took to pull this album together and all that kind of shit, it was one of the things that I kept going back to, going, I don't feel right with this. Before the album came out, I had the conversation with Paul and we spun the word back. But now I realize people can hear what I'm saying anyways.
In the case of this, man, I feel like just, man, I wish you and Tyler could sit down and hash that one out now that you fired your shot back and he said what he said, because I think that's a special young man, and he could probably use your mentorship and you could probably feed off of what he has to offer as well. I could tell it's different from Joe or some of the other names.
Yeah, it's definitely different. It's not as personal. It's one of them things like, all right, dude, you deserve a tap now because I think you thought it was cool to just, because you slid with the other things and I didn't say shit, because like I said, I was chalking it up to them being young and just kids, man. I'm like, but at the same time, at what point do I just gotta keep taking this shit?